TRT isn't technically enhanced. Enhanced is when you go above the normal
dose. She doesn't understand that even though you have the same testosterone levels as a natural, they're more consistently the same. You're in fact cheating if you're entering a competition. Coach Greg, and in today's video, Alex Eubank and his girlfriend, they talk about HRT. They say that if you're on HRT, you are in fact natural. And so here's a question, and let's debate this. If Alex Eubank is taking 200 milligrams of HRT or less, does that qualify him as being natural?
Someone asked, Ace of Apollo asked, how did you know she was the one you wanted and not just another girl? It's like almost in the sense of like being like my mom. Like, that sounds, it sounds bad, but like, you know what I'm saying?
And so the question was, was it love at first sight? Why are you with her? And so on. He's like, well, she's kind of like my mom. She does stuff for me. She takes care of me. And she's like, ugh, like, I'm like your mom. What are you talking about? But I thought it was a very honest answer, and he's just telling it like it is. He's being himself.
Tom Kearney asked, are you natural and will you ever take something if you are? I am 100% a lifetime natural. You know I'm natural. I've never pinned anything in front of you.
I can tell you I've dated girls in the past. They'd never seen me one time ever do an injection. Just because you have a girlfriend does not mean they're going to witness you injecting yourself. You could, for example, do 1 shot a week in the bathroom when they're not home. It's not hard to hide this from your girlfriend. I've also coached and trained married men who are on a shit ton of PDs. Wives never knew a thing. They're injecting every other day. Never knew it. And so just because your significant other doesn't see you injecting something does not actually mean you're natural. And I'm not saying she's lying, and I don't think he's ever pinned anything in his life. Frankly, I don't believe he's ever injected a steroid ever in his life. But just because his girlfriend hasn't seen him pin anything doesn't mean he's natural. Steroids like Anavar, Winstrol, T-Ball, Superdrol, D-Ball, Anadrol, these are all in pill form. Or SARMs like Ostarine, Rad140, LGD 4033, these are taken orally. And so just because you don't see someone injecting something doesn't mean that they are in fact natural.
The thing is, and I know this for a fact, I will never like blast gear.
When I was 22 years of age, I said, I will never, ever, ever, ever even think about doing steroids. I would have been the most anti-steroid YouTube channel you could ever find. There's no one that was against PDs more than me when I was 22. And so when I see him say, well, I would never blast, I'll never do that. How do you know? Do you know what else I said? I'll never smoke weed, never drink alcohol. When I was younger, I thought, no way would I'll ever do that. And look at me now.
Okay,
like I'm scared to take even like half a Xanax just for a plane, or like I'm scared to take like half a thing of Adderall. I every time it comes to taking like a medication, I like freak out about.
And so for me, if somebody's never taken Xanax or never taken Adderall, they wouldn't say I'm scared to take a half of one. They would say I'm scared to take Adderall or Xanax because I'm scared to have a reaction to it. I don't know what this medication could do, and so I'm scared of Adderall. They wouldn't add I'm scared to take a half of an Adderall. To me, when you add the preface half, it makes it as if you've already tried that. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but that's just how my brain works. You see how analytical I am? I think about things, I analyze them from a logical perspective, and then I give you my opinion on what I think.
Alex got prescribed B12 because his B12 is low, and like they thought like, hey, this will help with your natural energy. And it's an injection, but the needle is literally so small. It's like paper thin. And Alex won't even do that.
And isn't that strange? He has low vitamin B12 as he's prescribed an injection of B12. Not B vitamins, not a change in diet. Hey, you're 22, let's inject you with vitamin B12. But yet when I was younger and it was low on vitamin B12, the doctor did the opposite. Said, you're not taking this. I said, maybe I should have a vitamin B12 injection. No. We don't want you to do that. Now, mind you, this is 25 years ago, but you see the difference in the mindset. Back then it was, no, we don't resort to using injections to fix things. We fix your diet. And so it doesn't shock me, but it is disheartening to see that a doctor would suggest to inject vitamin B12 rather than go over their diet.
So I don't know why you guys think he's like fucking pinning tests or something. Like he can't even take the B12. Like I tried.
Well, that's true. He probably wouldn't be injecting steroids. If he's actually scared of a needle, that he won't do an insulin shot for vitamin B12, he's probably not injecting test and trend. But does that mean he couldn't be using SARMs or an oral steroid? And so I don't think that people are actually thinking that he's pitting test. And to me, she's way more knowledgeable than I would have expected. She knows a lot about HRT. She has very strong opinions about it. But what I don't understand is, why doesn't she say, look, I could understand you thinking he's not natural. I mean, look at this guy's physique. I mean, my boyfriend looks amazing. He's way better than 99% of the population. So I can understand why you have so many people thinking he's a fake natty. But he is in fact scared of needles. And so if he was, it certainly wouldn't be test and trend. But I could see why you would think he would do perhaps SARMs or an oral steroid. But let me tell you, I've never seen him do this. And I know him really well, and I think he would admit it to me. I think he would be honest to me. And he quite literally has never told me that he's ever used anything. And he described that time in his life when he put on all that muscle, and he said it was from bulking, and I just believe him. To me, that would make her much more credible, because she would be open to the criticism that's saying, well, he might not be natural. We don't know for sure. How would I know? And so just like we could say, my boyfriend or girlfriend would never cheat on me, do we really know that? Are we sure? Would we bet our life on it? I don't think we should. I don't know what the exact stats are on fidelity and people cheating on their significant others, but I certainly know it's possible. And so is it possible that Alex might be taking a SARM or an oral steroid? Of course it's possible. And to say there's no way he's fake daddy, and so for me, that's going a little bit too far, perhaps being a little bit naive.
If I ever do, I would never blast, so I don't want to put my body at risk anything, but I would consider taking like a TRT dose, maxing out at like 200 milligrams per week is probably what I would max out at.
And so think of it, he's 22 years of age, lifetime natural, at least he says, and he's already decided that I one day might take HRT at a dose of up to 200 milligrams a week. He's already decided this. Imagine the research, the thought process to have already had to come to this conclusion at only 22 years of age. I could see a guy at 22 saying, well, I'm a lifetime natural, but if down the road, when I'm older, if I have low testosterone levels and the doctor wants to put me on it, I'll do the HRT, whatever dose the doctor says. But to decide already, maybe up to 200, how does he know this? I mean, frankly, I'm on 140. Anyone on 200 milligrams a week for me, they're not natural, not even the slightest. And 99.9% of people don't even require 200 milligrams of test a week for replacement doses. Replacing what your body's supposed to make. The body, on average, not supposed to make 200 milligrams of test a week. That is a shit ton of testosterone. Even Larry Wheels, look at the size of him. He's on 175 milligrams a week. And so 200 milligrams a week, why would anyone need that? Now, obviously, we know why they would want that, because the more you take, the more results you're most likely going to get, but you really need it. Probably don't need it, you just want it. In the same way that I don't need to eat an entire ice cream cake, but I certainly want to do it. One piece, one small piece, probably all I need. But hey, I want 10 pieces because it's so friggin' delicious. That is the same with your HRT dose.
Would that build size? Maybe a little bit, maybe like 10 pounds of like quality muscle like over the course of a year. To be honest, not a huge amount.
And so would that build a lot of muscle? Well, probably about 10 pounds of quality muscle in a year, but that's not a large amount. Imagine 10 extra pounds on top of what you could build as a natural. 10 pounds of muscle when you're already at your natural genetic limit, that is a ton. And so perhaps the HRT dose that I'm on right now allows me to have 10 pounds of muscle. I'm 193 pounds, about 9% body fat. And so if I were not on HRT, picture me at 183, 100% natural. It's still amazing. It's still better than 99.9% of people, but it's 10 pounds of muscle. That is a lot. For a newbie in the gym with great genetics, 10 pounds of muscle, perhaps easy to gain in a year. But for a hard worker who's been at it for their entire life, 10 pounds of muscle would take years to put on. And so Alex says, perhaps I take 200 milligrams to have the enhanced psychological benefits. You can think more clearly, have more energy, more drive, enthusiasm. Pushing harder at cardio becomes easier. And so there are obviously benefits to having higher than normal testosterone levels. And almost everyone taking 200 milligrams of test a week is either going to be at the top end of the reference range or above it. And that most certainly will give benefits. And so consider this. Don't you think I would want to take 200 milligrams of test a week? Why do you think I'm only taking 140? Why would I do that? I know 200 would give me more gains. I'd have better results. But why am I not doing that? The reason is for my health. I know that the higher the dose, the more likely there are to have negative side effects. And if you're trying to live the longest life that you can, the lower the dose, the better. The lower the dose you can get away with. And for me, if you're not in the reference range of normal, then you're on super physiological levels. And 200 milligrams a week for almost everyone is going to be a super physiological dose of testosterone, putting you above what you're naturally going to produce.
TRT isn't technically enhanced. Enhanced is when you go above the normal
dose.
She definitely has read about this, understands it a lot, but she doesn't understand that even though you have the same testosterone levels as a natural, they're more consistently the same. And so if I stay up all night and I'm stressed out and have an improper diet, I'm still going to have normal testosterone levels. In comparison, the natural athlete who's not on TRT, if they stay up all night and party and get stressed out, their testosterone levels are going to tank. If they diet to lower than normal testosterone levels, as Alex is doing, think of it, a fitness influencer with pressure to be shredded, to have single-digit body fat. The more you diet, the more you cut, the lower your testosterone levels are. And so if you're natural and you go on a diet and your testosterone levels go down, and then you replace that with HRT in order to bring your testosterone levels back up to normal, you're in fact not natural. You're in fact cheating if you're entering a competition. It's not allowed because it's giving you an unfair advantage. And yeah, I get it. You're only replacing the testosterone you should have, but you should only have that if you're doing all the right things. And so if you over diet, crash diet, you're stressed out, not sleeping, overworked, and so on, your testosterone levels, they're going to go down. HRT going to keep them up. And so if you are on HRT, even if it's just replacement dose, to me, that means you're not natural. And remember, if that's the case, you have lower than normal testosterone levels, consider G-test and 3-test. These are scientifically proven ingredients to help boost your natural testosterone production. It's not like the test boosters of old. They didn't work, perhaps a couple of points. But even Andrew Huberman stated that Fedosia agrestis and Tom Catalee, these are amazing, can boost natural testosterone levels 1 to 200 points. One of my friends quite literally taken this, the 3-test, testosterone levels went from in the 300s into the 700s in only a month. Gets regular blood work, tests done all the time, and this was the difference maker. And so what she's saying quite literally is true. She's not wrong. She's saying that TRT is testosterone replacement therapy. And so if you're giving back the testosterone to get you to baseline, for example, if you're supposed to be at 500 and all of a sudden it's at 200 and the doctor gives you testosterone to get you to 500, then that's TRT. But in the majority of cases, people on TRT are not just replacing their testosterone doses, they're maximizing it. And so perhaps you would have been 500, you're now crashed, you're at 150. You go on TRT, and rather than the doctor getting you to 500, they get you to 800. And why? Because they're trying to optimize your health. So it's not just about replacing the test your body should be making, it's about optimizing it. And so for me, my testosterone levels on 140 milligrams are in the upper 700s. That's good. It's not out of the reference range, but what if I was not on HRT? What if I would have been only 500? Certainly 700 plus is better than 500. And so I'm not just on replacement doses, I'm on doses to optimize my personal health. And that's going to be decided by you and your doctor. But listen, it doesn't mean that you're natural. And if you're on HRT, you most certainly should not be considered natty.
So if you're at 400 and you get yourself to baseline of 700, you're not enhanced.
I would argue you 100% are. I just give you that own example for myself. If I was at 500 and now I'm in the 700s, of course I'm enhanced. And even if I was only at 500 still, to me, still enhanced. Why? Because I'm more stable and consistent at 500. I don't experience the peaks and valleys the way I would if I was crash dieting, not sleeping enough, and getting too much stress. And so regardless of what dose you are, if you're injecting any testosterone at all, my personal opinion, you're 100% not natty. And so there you have it, answering the natty or not question. Let me know, do you think that HRT is natural? Do you think it's enhanced? Where do you stand on this? Please go check out his video, the Q&A, highly interesting. The next question came up, it says, are you guys bothered by getting attention at the gym? I've watched the entire video, it was all interesting, so I highly recommend you get it. And so although I don't have the exact same opinion as these two, I do respect their opinions. They should be allowed to share it. We don't see eye to eye exactly, but their opinions are valid. A lot of people think like this. I simply think different. And so you can agree with me, you can agree with them. It's okay. Everything is up for debate. And remember, HTLT supplements, use code Greg, 10% off the Seco bars, creatine, protein powder, beta-alanine, G-Focus, G-Test. We got it all. Just check out the website, click the link in the description. Remember, of course, the freaking cookbook, the training book, that Circle diet book. You can get all that. Coaching plans by me and my team. Subscribe. click the bell button, watch the bloops, follow me on Instagram, Greg Doucette IB Pro, and don't forget, until next time, I am out.